Welcome back to a round 5 game of GP Florence. We have Astimageon versus Splashcat. This Astimageon is on blue-red Fliers, which is a Fliers deck that's using Rabbit Throw in order to get a bunch of damage out of nowhere. It has a bunch of 1-mana flying creatures. Splashcat, meanwhile, is on Fickle control, which is a control deck that seeks to use will of a Fickle Lord in order to blink a bunch of their own enchantments to get value off them, as well as slow down the opponent's plans. The Splashcat mugs in their hand because they have way too many burning heals and not enough early removal. Okay, but now they get a hand with tons of early removal, so they definitely keep this. They're going to bottom one of the Pyromancers next. I guess they figured 4 pieces of removal is a bit excessive, so they just bottom one of the weaker pieces. And it's Astimageon already kept, so yeah. Splashcat opens up with Plains. I would have let off with Wayfarer's Shrine, but I don't think that really matters. Astimageon's going to Nebula for 2, and then probably play out of the 7 stars to Scry first. Actually, Phantasmal Owl might also be the better option here because this thing attacks for more damage, but Astimageon is going to Scry first. Yeah, I probably would have gone for Phantasmal Owl first because you play Owl in turn 1 and turn 2, you play down 2 Flyers and swing for 3 with the Owl. Splashcat draws Spiring Canyon. You can play Ball of Lightning and I guess kill the Owl. Also let them Scry. So Astimageon playing out the Owl of the 7 stars first did work out for them because, yeah, it baited removal. Unfortunately, I think Phantasmal Owl is also going to get hit by removal. Anyway, the Astimageon draws Crystal Caverns, so they're going to keep losing life from their lands. And here I think they just dropped 2 Flyers, so Phantasmal Owl plus Illusionary Steed or something. Actually, no, Phantasmal Owl plus Master of Masks. No, they're going to play Willow Spirit instead. I think they should probably play a Master of Masks because Owls are basically the scariest part of this deck, since they're the things that do the most amounts of damage. Now Splashcat's going to play Burning Heals now. They're not going to use removal right now. They're willing to let themselves get hit for a turn. And Splashcat missed their Eureka trigger last turn, so probably doesn't matter because the game's going to end before they get to 8 research counters. Astimageon has a lot of options here. I think they want to play out Rabbit Throw now so that they can attack with their buffed up guys. No, they're going to wait on the Rabbit Throw. They're going to keep up Willow Spirit. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Or Splashcat to use 2 removal spells on the Owl. If you're going to do that though, I still feel like you should probably play out Master of Masks as a copy of the Owl, because that way you have extra insurance that you'll have 1 Owl left at the end of this, at the end of your opponent's turn. The Splashcat's going to try to kill the Owl, as Astimageon uses Willow Spirit's ability to counter it. I feel like Splashcat... Did Splashcat notice that Willow Spirit was protecting the Owl? Because if so, they probably should have played Rippling Curtain instead. Maybe they were playing around Cosmic Sinkhole. Well, here's Master of Masks number 2. I think here at Astimageon just plays it as a copy of the Owl now. Well, here's Rabbit Throw. Yeah, all the creatures are super scary. Astimageon plays Master of Masks as a copy of the Owl. So I think if Astimageon played Master of Masks instead of Illusionary Steed last turn, they would have done way more damage. At least just 1 more damage. Splashcat gets knocked down to 1. And flips Pyromancer's neck. Also, Splashcat just concedes. They don't have any ways to clear the board and also gain enough life to not die next turn. Looking at the board, Splashcat probably wants to board in Sheldrain's Rage to wipe the board. I think Journey's End isn't actually that good because all of your removal spells all your damage-based removal already kill Astimageon's creatures. Maybe board in Journey's End anyways, because it's instant speed. And then on Astimageon's side, they probably want Cosmic Sinkhole and also Crossing the Fog in order to outpace Splashcat's removal. And yeah, also Spell Pierce too. So game 2 is underway. Splashcat gets opening hand with only 1 land, so they mulligan. Now they get opening hand with only 1 spell, so okay, they mulligan again and you get a hand with Sheldrain's Rage. So I think they're definitely keeping this. You can afford to bottom a land and a Sealed Riftway. Yeah, they're going to bottom an Ico, probably because it's too slow right now. And they're also going to bottom land, so they're keeping 2 Sealed Riftways for some reason. Meanwhile, Astimageon has a hand that's basically perfect. Well, it's missing Phantasmal Owl, but maybe the Chattering Parrots brought Astimageon into them. And Splashcat opens up with Sealed Riftway on turn 1. So they do have Flare Blitz lined up if they draw a land after Sheldrain's Rage. Astimageon gets Crossing the Fog. Here I think Astimageon opens up with Chattering Parrot. You can open up with Illusionary Steed. Well, I guess that's with 1 more power. They want to get damage in right now. And Splashcat's going to play out another Sealed Riftway. They get to play Summit Highlands tap because they're not holding up Sheldrain's Rage. I think now Astimageon plays Crossing the Fog and swings, because this is a pretty good opportunity to play Crossing the Fog and get a card off of it. They're going to lead off a Chattering Parrot, and they draw a land, so they're probably bottoming this land. And then they swing. They're not going to play Crossing the Fog. Strange. I would have played Crossing the Fog here, definitely. Because now, if you play down more creatures, you're just playing into Shaldrain's Rage. Although I guess you have Cosmic Sinkhole on 1 for Shaldrains. But that still doesn't stop a Shaldrains for 1. If they're going to play out Master of Masks post-combat as a copy of Illusionary Steed. I'm not sure what to think about this. Let's backtrack on the fetch now. And they draw Ico. So they can Flare Blitz this turn, but they're probably holding up Shaldrain's Rage. And then I guess they probably just Shaldrain's Rage when Astimageon tries to attack. Okay, there's Phantasmal Owl. This Astimageon does have Cosmic Sinkhole on 2, so they're going Crossing the Fog first. They match a flip Griffin Country. And then they go to attacks. They swing in with everything. They Splashcat go into Shaldrain's Rage now. Yeah, they're going to try Shaldrain's Rage, and Astimageon gets to counter with Cosmic Sinkhole, which is a huge blowout. And now Astimageon gets 3 cards off the journey, which is absolutely insane. So that's basically just an Ancestral Recall. But at least fortunately for Splashcat, Astimageon doesn't have the most threatening of boards. Next turn they have Griffin Country, so that's going to buff up their board, and then Phantasmal Owl is coming down. So Splashcat needs a way to deal with the board pretty quickly. Well, I mean, Splashcat knows 3 cards in Astimageon's hand, so they might want to hold up Event Horizon or the Griffin Country. And they're just going to Bottle Lightning the Illusionary Steed, which is kind of a weird play because, yeah, you don't get to scry off that thing. And right now, small creatures aren't what you're worried about. You're worried about the board buffs. But actually, next turn, if Splashcat draws a land, then Ico -3 would be pretty devastating. Or Astimageon, or not really. They can just sack 2 parrots and be pretty happy with that. I mean, here you just play Griffin Country out, right? Yeah, Astimageon's going to keep playing to the board. Then make a copy of Chattering Parrot. Strange. Guess they're alluding towards something. To draw a Wayfarer Shrine and bottom a land. Play out another Wayfarer. Okay, play out Wayfarer Shrine. Fetch Island. And then play out Griffin Country. And they get to swing in with their 1/1s that are buffed to 2/2s. I think Splashcat top decking a land there. I think Splashcat topping a land this turn still doesn't help. Yeah, Mirrorgate. It's also tap land, so that's even worse. Well, I guess, right. Illusionary Steed self-sack ability means that it blanks a life gain from Flare Blitz, which is actually really interesting. So Splashcat definitely is going to play... No, they're going to Event Horizon the Griffin Country. Do they still die after this? Oh, I guess they survive. They're only taking 6 next turn. Unless Astimageon top stack another board buff. Far 1. Okay, yeah, that does it. And Splashcat accepts the loss. Those are some pretty quick games. The Fliers deck just managed to get ahead of the Fickle control player. And that turn with the Cosmic Sinkhole on the Shaldrain's Rage was probably the deciding turn of the game. I think something Splashcat could have done to play around that specific possibility was to just take and then see if Astimageon tries to tap out for anything during their turn. And if they do, then you can Shaldrain's Rage and wipe the board. And if Astimageon doesn't tap out for anything, then I guess you Shaldrain's Rage anyways. Yeah, okay. I guess it would rely on Astimageon misplaying into this Shaldrain's Rage, but yeah.